In this episode of Fictional Hangover, we talk about spinning newspaper headlines, how dogs are aliens, throwing baby vampires onto bonfires, and capitalism being the true ripper in our discussion of Mina and the Cult by Amy McCall. Hey everybody, welcome to Fictional Hangover, a podcast about young adult and new adult, and sometimes other books, series, authors, voice actors, and illustrators that is full of spoilers. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire, and today we're going to discuss Mina and the Cult by Amy McCall.
Standard disclaimer. If you haven't read this book, please remember that Fictional Hangover is all about spoilers. If you haven't read and don't want to be spoiled, stop listening to us and go read the book. Then come back. If you haven't done this but want to pretend that you have, or if you don't care about spoilers, or if you just like the show so much that you don't care about any of that, then listen up. No audio for this one. No audio for Mina. I just want to say I have a nice southern accent.
Yes, but Mina's from Whitley Bay.
Yeah, but everyone else is from the American South.
Do you Yorkshire? Show me your Yorkshire accent.
I don't have any idea how to do that. I would have to learn before I even tried.
And Libby's from Yorkshire as well. And then Jared is Honolulu, so that's not southern.
Yeah, but...
The one you would be able to pull off the best, 100%, which I had your accent going through my head when I was reading it, was Saint Germain.
Oh, great. Thank you.
And I insist that you always wear a white suit now.
I would love to wear a white suit and then suck up all your vampire powers.
Spoilers!
Well, you know what?
Right.
All about spoilers. All about spoilers.
That's true. You've already done standard disclaimers, so there we go. Do we have any background information before we give out anything else?
No. The background information actually, I mean, it kind of is, but not really. I think this is the first time that we have covered a book after having one of the brand new and indie spotlight episodes about one. I think this is the first time. So I would really love to direct everyone to go and listen to that new and indie spotlight episode so they get more listens and people know what we're doing in creating these fun and exciting bonus episodes.
Cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I will be directed to that new and indie spotlight.
Thank you. Good. There are so many details about the book, but also I feel like that episode was like 14 hours long because we just kept talking about random things. So
it could have been longer because we kept talking afterwards as well.
We did. We really did. We love Amy.
Which is the same thing happened with Dawn as well. It's like,
yep.
Oh, we're going to stop recording now after 2 hours, and 2 hours further along. Yeah, we should probably hang up.
Yeah. But
that's
it's fun.
That's what happens when you have nice, lovely people on.
I know. It's what happens when you talk to your friends that you don't get to talk to very much.
Exactly.
So that's the background info. What about initial thoughts? What do you have?
I think the song was it. I'm just going to quote a song. It's the end of the world as we know it. It's the end of the world as we know it. I feel fine.
Is it really the end of the world, or is it just the end of this trilogy?
Well, yes, but there is a whole, apocalypse overtone
That's
to
true.
it as well.
That is true.
And I'm sure that song was mentioned in the book.
Was it?
I don't know. There was an REM song mentioned.
Yeah. My initial thought is that I can't believe that we're at the end of this trilogy because we've been with this series since the beginning. Like
pre-beginning.
We have influence in book 2. And some in this
And
one.
we have some influence in book 3, thank you very much.
That's what I just said. That is what
Your microphone went quiet.
I said, and some in this one.
Yes. Fictional Hangover are mentioned in the acknowledgements of book 2.
Yes, we are, and it's very, it's neat. It's neat, okay?
It's cool.
It's neat. I love it. I've just discovered.
Page 296 is forever in my heart.
Yes, it is. Yes.
That's book 2.
Yeah. Should we get through it?
Yeah,
because...
the summary's going to be like 16 hours long, so let's just do it.
And if you weren't paying attention to the intro, we're going to be joined by Amy later. So we have to get through all of this so we can talk to her. Okay. Mina, her vampire boyfriend, Jared, her older sister, Libby, and Libby's girlfriend and vampire hunter, Della, have been traveling a long time from New Orleans, Louisiana to New Mexico. When the dust finally settled in the Big Easy after defeating an evil vampire and stopping an uprising, they decided it was time to follow the message Mina and Libby's mom left and go and see their dad, who abandoned the family and returned to New Mexico when Mina was only 8. Libby is his staunch defender, but all Mina remembers is that her father is a bit weird and unreliable. Weird is certainly true. They've reached his compound that looks like something from a horror movie, with old rusted cars everywhere and miles of uninterrupted barbed wire fence. When they find a gap and pull into the compound, security cameras clock them, and they see a truck racing toward them. Cliffhanger!
The truck stops and a man around Libby's age steps out. He's got a strong southern accent and the butt of a gun clearly displayed beneath his shirt. He introduces himself as Chase and checks if they are the shepherd's kids. Yes, Mina and Libby's last name is Shepherd, but the Shepherd sounds like a title. Chase takes them to the old saloon where they dump their stuff, and the whole compound is giving Jared Manson family vibes. Everything just screams cult.
When they're ready, Chase escorts the group to the big house of the community, which is cluttered with papers everywhere and filled with people dressed in homemade clothes who all seem to know who they are. Only their resident electrical whiz, an older black man called Hayes, doesn't give off the Kool-Aid vibes, but he does have a solid black raven tattoo on his wrist, just like Chase. At last, Chase takes them to their mom, Emma, and she is looking good. She reassures them that their father knows she's a vampire and, maybe not so reassuringly, says that there are no secrets in the community. They're interrupted by a bell ringing, signifying the shepherd has returned. Yeah, definite cult vibes happening here.
The woo-woo was strong.
Yeah.
Libby runs to hug her dad while Mina is wary of her father, who has barely changed in the decades since she last saw him. The shepherd welcomes his children and tells everyone to eat up. He's brought takeout. Plates are filled by the community residents until only the shepherd, Emma, Hayes, Chase and Ellie, Chase's girlfriend, are left with Mina, Libby, Jared and Della. The meal is... it's awkward. Yeah, it's awkward. And it gets even weirder when the shepherd declares he is finished because then everyone else abruptly stops eating too. What is this, British monarchy? Jesus.
It's a
Can you say cult?
The shepherd wants to show his daughters his research and takes them down into the basement, where the clutter continues. But this time it is scattered with artifacts and photographs. The research is on cryptids and other supernatural creatures and occurrences. And the shepherd explains it all started with his father and the crash at Roswell in 47. Cryptids and aliens. Cryptids and aliens. He has taken on his father's mantle and expanded it, believing that these supernatural creatures are the product of aliens doing experiments on humans and animals. The community are like-minded individuals who have each witnessed something supernatural and been rejected by their friends, family, and neighbors, and now they've come here to be believed and to help continue the search for answers and proof. Cryptids and aliens, oh my god!
I'm going squatching. Libby isn't really interested in the weird and wonderful objects in the basement, but Mina is eating it up. She spots an older photo of her dad with a skinny white guy, and he takes it from her and tells her Clem was one of their members, but his goals grew more violent, and so he was asked to leave the community. When Mina and Libby return to Jared and Della, who were not invited to see the research, they share information. Jared and Della try to talk to the community members, but everyone is tight-lipped, which is definitely cult-like behaviour.
Mm-hmm.
When Mina and Jared take a walk, Jared tells her about Jamestown and Waco, which really doesn't ease Mina's worries. Adding to them is the campfire gathering they stumble upon, where her dad leads the community in chants of gratitude.
Cult! It's a cult!
Can you say cult?
The next day, Mina's dad takes Mina and Libby to a museum in Roswell, while Della and Jared stay back to rest and study, aka hide from the sun and snoop around. For obvious vampiric reasons, Emma can't join her family on the trip to Roswell, and many in the community are traveling to a big basketball game, so it's just a father-daughter's day. The museum is interesting, for Mina at least. The shepherd explains his father's connection to the Roswell crash, subsequent witness sightings, and his theory that the aliens crashed trying to warn humanity that the creatures they created would turn on them. There's a fervor in his eyes, especially when he says he'd like to tell the world and give them proof, and that according to signs and reports, they only have a couple of years left before the uprising. After they grab burgers, the shepherd takes them back to the ranch and arranges horseback riding for them. It's so wholesome when you're like, hey, the world's ending in a couple of years because of aliens and vampires and cryptids. But let's get burgers! Let's ride a
go
horse!
horseback riding. It sounds like some really weird-ass kind of like 5-star resort thing. Chase and Ellie take Mina and Libby horseback riding. It's been a long time since they've been on a horse, but it all comes back to them. While Ellie is friendly and open with Mina, telling her about her alien abduction and how she's found a home in the community after being ostracised from her home, Chase is a jerk. When they return back to the ranch, Chase directs the sisters to their father, who has business concerning Jared. Dum, dum, dum.
The shepherd has Della in a secure location. Jared, however, is sitting under a thick blanket, about to be exposed to the sun and his painful, fiery death, which will be televised during the basketball commercial break for all of America to see.
It's just after the watershed, because I have a feeling that, children shouldn't see that.
The shepherd has decided to expose vampires to the world because, in his bonkers culty mind, there are only 2 years before all hell breaks loose because a powerful vampire is going to take over the world and he needs to prepare humanity. The shepherd puts on a rubber mask, and makes his way to Jared, while Mina and Libby are forced to stay in the barn and watch the television as the basketball game changes to their father and Jared's blanketed form on national television. As the shepherd declares he has captured a vampire, he yanks the blanket away, exposing Jared to the sun.
And absolutely nothing happens. Awkward. The feed cuts back to the basketball game just as Della's Jeep crashes through the barn wall. It's Cafferty and Armand to the rescue, and they've already got Della and Jared. Like a bat out of hell, they race from the compound, Cafferty stopping only long enough to get his Impala and let Della take over the wheel of her Jeep. As they speed away, Armand offers his thoughts on Jared's miraculous non-combustion. Jared has a healing ability that once thought to only work on others seems to now extend to himself. So, as the sun tries to burn him, his powers heal him. This is extremely interesting, and something Saint-Germain, the self-proclaimed vampire king of New Orleans, will want to know about.
The next day, they arrive back in New Orleans. Cafferty heads to the police station and Armand goes to his club, Empire of the Dead, while the rest head into their apartment they live in the mansion, which is currently closed whilst renovations take place to create a Lost Boys room. As they're settling in for a movie night, Mina spots a message blinking on their answering machine. Her dad has called, warning Mina he's in town with a new plan. He's going to meet his friend from the photo she found, and he doesn't plan on reaching out while he's in town, but he wants them to move past this messy, attempting to burn her boyfriend to death on national TV business. Anywho, time to ignore that. Call Will and invite him over to watch Back to the Future with them. Will is busy, but will swing by soon.
Will turns up after most of the movie is over, and he has a surprise for them. He's a vampire! Ah! Fiona, a vampire they all know, turned him, consensually, and he loves it. Mina and Della, as slayers, try to explain to him there are rules to being a good vampire, and then Jared takes him to a blood bar, but later he says he doesn't think Will was all that impressed. Well, this is certainly a development, and because bad news comes in threes, the next morning the headline in the paper says, "Vampire Ripper Strikes City," and the article even has a letter from the killer signed, "A Vampire of New Orleans." Oh, great.
I like that you went really like ritzy New York headline. Vampire Ripper Strikes the
how
City!
You say headlines.
And the newspaper is spinning onto the screen.
Yes. If that doesn't happen to you, are you doing it right? I think you need, that's how headlines are done.
Mina calls Cafferty at the police station, who has been put on the case by his supernatural-aware ex-partner, now Sergeant Boudreaux. He confirms a key piece of information was withheld from the press. The killer had a calling card. They left a tarot card with the body, the Hanged Man. Of course, Mina and Jared are going to look into this. It could be the Shepherd, or it could be another murderous vampire. So they head to an occult library to look up cults.
Braving the sun, Jared and Mina head to the library, which is, quite simply magnificent. Unfortunately, the cult section, including rare and in-library use only items, have been taken out by a very important patron, who they couldn't possibly confirm is Saint-Germain.
Good job, librarian. Way to go. Way to keep up that patron confidentiality.
You can see the wink. Well, it's 1995 and books are no longer the only means of research. We are technologically able. So Jared and Mina head to an internet cafe. Jared manages very easily to infiltrate a cult chat board. User Cult Conspirator tells them about a vampire cult in New Orleans with a stockpile of weapons, stakes and crosses, while user 87323 is willing to meet them at a House of Games at 4 p.m. to discuss it more and suggests they wear something vampy so they'll be recognised. Mina and Jared return to the mansion for Jared to rest because being a day walker takes a lot out of him, leaving Mina to head to House of Games, but she smartly takes Cafferty for support.
Thank goodness. Thank goodness you're taking your grown-up cop friend with you. Mina and Cafferty spread out, and it's not long before a girl joins Mina at the Tekken 2 game and comments on her Mina Harker t-shirt. It's user 87323. She warns Mina about a group led by a guy called Clem, who is bad news. Or should that be with a spinning newspaper? Bad news, everyone!
Yes.
The group is based in the swamp, and they have pretty extreme views about the existence of vampires. With reluctance, she hands over the coordinates for Clem's group and leaves. Cafferty was listening to the whole conversation and agrees to go with Mina. Mina heads back to the mansion, but it's only for a short time because Paige, the new leader of the Slayers, who is a pain in the ass and a complete sellout, has summoned her and Della for an emergency meeting.
Mina and Della head to the Slayers' cave. Paige postures and simpers to the assembled Slayers before introducing their patron, Saint Germain. After thanking them for their fine work and keeping their connection to y'all secret, Saint Germain reveals that his vampires will now accompany the Slayers as their patrol and hunt down the Vampire Ripper, with no exceptions. He's also going to be providing a basic salary and upgrading all their kit, tools, and weapons. As a cherry on top of this slimy, disgusting Sunday, Saint Germain will provide a handsome reward to whichever Slayer deals the killing blow to the Ripper. After, Paige tells Mina and Della to investigate Empire of the Dead, because apparently there have been reports of vampire activity there and they need to get their house in order. They are to head over at 7 p.m, and with them will go Ilian, one of Germain's top vampires.
At 7 p.m, Mina and Della leave the mansion with Libby and Jared, and Ilian is waiting for them. They head to Empire of the Dead, but have no luck questioning people. Fiona, the vampire who changed Will, is working that night, and she's more nervous about seeing Will's friends than any vampire ripper on account of, turning their friend into a vampire. But it's okay. Mina spots Will flirting with some girl and leading her out of the club into the alley where he drinks from her. Unfortunately, Mina doesn't recall it because Will used memory erasing powers on her, and she never saw anything.
The group hangs around Empire of the Dead for a while, having fun before heading back to the mansion for the night. The next day, Mina and Cafferty head to the swamp to meet Clem and hopefully the shepherd, wanting to be able to rule out her dad as being the Vampire Ripper. Eventually, they reach the rustic swamp place Clem and his group are living in. Clem is violent, threatening jerk who comes close to hurting Mina and Cafferty, but luckily the shepherd intercedes, and we finally learn that his name is Jeffrey!
Oh, hi!
The shepherd, or Jeff, says he's now staying in New Orleans and ushers Mina and Cafferty into his airboat with the ever-cheerful Chase at the helm. After a standoffish conversation, Mina is satisfied that her father isn't the Vampire Ripper, but is interested in who they are. Cafferty is concerned by the arsenal Clem's group are hoarding and is going to report it to the Weapons and Firearms Division.
Later, Cafferty takes Mina to the New Orleans Forensic Center to see the Vampire Ripper's victim, and Armand is meeting them there to also examine the body. While Mina tries not to breathe through her nose, Armand examines the vicious wound on the victim's neck and concludes a young male vampire did it. Ooh.
After, Mina joins Libby, Della and Jared to go to the fall fair where they meet up with Will and Fiona before eating lots of unhealthy foods and making bad craft pencil wands.
I want to go to there.
It sounds like a really good fair.
It does.
Their fun is interrupted by Saint Germain's lackeys who want to speak to Jared and Mina. Saint Germain saw Jared's display on TV and politely requests he join his employ, and just as politely he threatens Mina a little. Jared agrees, with little argument, reasoning there is nothing he could do to get out of it. Armand escorts the couple out and hands Jared top-of-the-line technology, a pager, and warns them to stay out of trouble and not to let Saint Germain know Jared also has the power to heal others.
Returning to their friends at the fair, the group breaks up, with Mina and Della going on patrol and Jared joining them to clear his head. Not long into the patrol, Jared smells a dead body and they find another victim of the Vampire Ripper. Della makes an anonymous phone call to the police by running back a few blocks and using a payphone, everyone. And luckily, Cafferty was nearby and first on the scene, so sends them on their way after Jared tells them the bite looks like it's from a female vampire. On their way back to the mansion, Jared is paged by Saint Germain.
The next morning doesn't start much better. Libby has agreed they will go to their father's for breakfast. Libby is quick to forgive their dad. Mina, not so much, and is frankly pissed. The only reason she agrees is because Libby tells her Jeff has information on the vampire ripper. Mina, Libby and Della head to the fairly dilapidated hotel Jeff, their mom and some of the community members are living in.
Ellie and Chase are there. Ellie is her usual sunshine self, and Chase is still a jerk. Turns out Libby lied to Mina, and her dad doesn't have any information about the Vampire Ripper, but he is interested in what she might know. Over breakfast, Ellie tells them she's not been sleeping well with bad dreams and takes a walk to clear her head. Talk soon turns to concerns about Clem's group potentially doing something big, as there were a lot of flyers for a lot of local events at his place. Jeff tells them not to worry. With that, the breakfast ends, and Mina, Libby, and Della leave. Mina calls Cafferty to tell him about the flyers, but he says the Weapons and Firearms Division went out to Clem's place and reported no gear. No time to worry about all this now, because it's bonfire time.
It's a lovely evening. The bonfires are spectacular, and even Saint-Germain's giving a speech doesn't ruin it too much. Clem's group of vigilantes do ruin it, however, when they attack. They shine UV torches in people's faces, and if the person burns, they try to kill them and throw them into the bonfire. It's absolute chaos.
It's the scene from Twilight where we throw the baby into the fire.
Oh, yes. Bringing it back to Twilight.
Always.
One of Clem's group tries to shine the light on Will and Fiona, but Will punches her unconscious. Della and Mina try to help them and tell Will not to kill their attacker. Instead, he tells Mina and Della to forget that you saw us, pulls Fiona along and disappears. A second later, Mina wonders why Della is crouched over an unconscious woman. Meanwhile, Clem has made an appearance by the bonfire and has Mina's mum. Jeff comes running up as Mina and Della do, and he's able to get Clem to drop Emma and walk away. Jared soon joins them and heals Emma's UV burned face, while Jeff looks on with interest.
The next day, the attack at the bonfire is barely a footnote in the news. Is that a small spinning newspaper? Or
attack at bonfire.
No, it's smaller than that. It's barely a footnote.
Attack at bonfire. And it just kind of goes.
Jeff calls, though, and leaves a voicemail. Ellie is dead.
Ellie is dead! Oh no, sorry, that's inappropriate.
I was too excited. Jeff arrives soon at the mansion and is consoled by his daughters. Ellie couldn't sleep and went for a walk when she was attacked by the Vampire Ripper. I feel like that needs a wah wah. Jeff?
Attacked by Vampire Ripper! Oh, sorry, I'm stuck in it now. I'll try and stop. It's inappropriate.
Spinning newspapers are never inappropriate.
Thank you.
Although they do really not match up with this paragraph at all.
No, that's why I'm going to stop.
Jeff needs to find this vampire and prove to the world what is in their midst before the apocalypse comes. Mina is willing to help find the killer, but the rest, not so much. They decide to start by visiting the news reporter who broke the story of Ellie's murder.
Ah, no, it's all come back to the spinning headlines. Mina, Jared and Jeff head to the news office, and Jeff is able to flirt and charm with the reporter. Jeff is able to flirt and charm the reporter. She tells them there have been a few letters, calls and the like, but only one stands out. She showed them a transcript of a 911 call where someone called Ray says he didn't take that much blood. As the dispatcher is trying to get their name and location, Ray tells them it doesn't matter and hangs up. Outside the news office, Jared tells Mina he thinks he knows who Ray is from the jobs Central Maine has been sending him on, and he works at a blood bar. They arrange to take Jeff there that night, but he's got to bring Emma as he'll need a vampire to get in. Do you think the vampire's like a punch card or something? You've got to scan them as you go in,
yes.
Make sure you're allowed.
Yeah.
In the meantime, they're going to tell Cafferty about the blood bar lead.
Cafferty is having lunch at Empire of the Dead, and when he leaves, Mina and Jared decide to hang around a little longer. To smooch. Unfortunately, their smoochy time is interrupted because Jared can smell fresh blood coming from the alley. When they investigate, Mina finds a tiny boy vampire drinking from a woman. The boy vampire is Tony, and he is Elijah, Armand's day manager's son. It turns out John Carter, Armand's psychopathic vampire brother from Mina and the Undead, who is now properly dead, turned Tony at the beginning of the year when Elijah asked to be made a vampire. John Carter thought it was hilarious. Ever since, Elijah has homeschooled his son and, with Armand's help, kept him secret. Frankly, it's too much to add to Mina's plate, and if Armand's on the case, she doesn't want to get the Slayers involved. So she decides it's best to just head home and take a nap.
I fully support that.
Sensible decision.
100%. Just go home and have a nap. Just ignore it. It's not your problem. When Mina wakes from her nap, she meets Will to help him shop for a present for Fiona, whose birthday is that day and who's having a party. Will, you do not leave it that late.
That is so late. Oh my gosh.
I'm so upset with you. Mina takes him to Fanged Friends, finally deciding she's ready to face Emmeline again. Plus she loves the stuff she sells, and they would be able to find something perfect for Fiona. Emmeline is happy to see Mina and help Will find a gift, so she selects a few outfits and Mina helps pick out one that Fiona would like best. Unfortunately, it's $10 more than what Will has, so he uses vampire mind powers to get Emmeline to accept the $20 bill. Except Emmeline is a witch, and no witch worth their salt doesn't protect themselves against vampire juju. Mina is very confused.
The urge to hit Will is strong, but Mina doesn't give in to it. Will tries to justify his willy-nilly use of powers by saying he's stopped his stepmom from hating Mina for killing her son and getting her daughter incarcerated. That's nice and all, but it's still not cool. Mina gives him a pass, but just this once. She also leaves Will the $10 he needs for Fiona's dress. I just feel like Mina is being a doormat right now. Like, yeah. Oh, you've wiped all our minds a million times, but here's $10, okay? Here, yeah. Still be my friend. Here's $10. When Mina gets back to the mansion, she updates Jared with Will's power development. Soon, they're heading to the blood bar with Emma and Jeff.
It thankfully goes well. Jeff is very interested in what he sees and doesn't try to overstep too much. Ilian comes in as they're questioning Ray with another Central Maine lackey, Miranda, who is able to touch Ray and see that he is a nervous wreck, but is clearly not the Vampire Ripper. Oh well, time to head to Fiona's party at 9 Steps into Hell.
Fiona looks amazing in the dress Mina helped pick out approximately 15 minutes ago, and she's so grateful for the skull jewelry from Mina and Jared and Libby and Della. When the food comes for the mere mortals, Will and Fiona head into the Dante exhibit for some quiet time. Wink. Unfortunately, Paige, her Lieutenant Beau, and a couple of other Slayers come in and ruin the party.
Dickheads. The head of the Slayers isn't satisfied with Mina and Della's investigations, and since Shemaine is freaking out over the Ripper, so she's come to pick up their slack. As Elijah's walking past with a tray of glasses, a Slayer grabs him for looking suspicious because he's sweaty. He's working.
He's working,
Idiot.
and he's a human. He's
And
allowed to
it's probably
sweat.
hot in this restaurant. You dumb shit. Anyhow, it causes Tony to come tearing out of the back room to protect his dad and bite one of the slayers. Suddenly, a fight breaks out between Fiona and Paige stakes Fiona, killing her. The slayers leave, saying they're held to the cord, while Jared holds Will back. However, he can only hold him so long after the slayers run off. Meanwhile, Armand has a vision about a hospital bed, and it's too fragmented to know more.
How dare they ruin the birthday party like that?
Kill her on her birthday.
By murdering the birthday girl.
I can imagine as well, she had one of those over-the-top sized happy birthday badges on as well, or like the...
A sash.
The sash.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jerks. Matters are made even worse when Cafferty calls the next morning to say all of Clem's group in the swamp were killed by vampires during the night. The same night, Jeff had been planning to visit Clem. This is the scene from the first season of True Blood when Vampire Bill goes to the trailer because there are like his other vampire dudes there, and then all of the rednecks set the trailer on fire. It's that scene. It is.
It is.
Except for it's a little bit further south in Louisiana.
The big difference. It's a little bit further south.
Yeah. Sorry. Mina dials her mom straight away. And she's worried because Jeff didn't come home. So Mina, Libby, Della, and Jared head over to their hotel. Hayes is sure they would all know if something had happened to the shepherd. In other news, Chase apologizes for being a dick to them. And oh yeah, he's their half-brother.
What?
Excuse me, what?
What?
Excuse me, what?
Yeah, okay. Jeff had a relationship with Chase's mom, but it didn't work out, and he moved to the UK not long after he was born, met Emma, and had Libby and Mina, but they reconnected when he returned to the States. Mina and Libby are surprised, but quick to accept Chase's revelation. As he's relaying it, there's a knock on the door, and it's a tired and dirty-looking Jeff.
Remind me to come back to this. Remind me to come back to this exact moment later in our discussion.
Okay. He managed to escape the vampire attack, found a boat, and paddled back to the city. Well, he's safe now, which is what matters, but now the Mansion of the Macabre is reopening with its new Lost Boys room, so Mina and co better get a move on.
Instead of their usual interview with a vampire roles, Mina will play Star, and Jared will play Michael in the Lost Boys room. They excitedly get ready, in all senses of the word, but things don't go too far because Libby, at this exact moment in time, needs to do Mina's makeup. Poor Jared.
Libby is such a cockblock.
I know. The first tour through the new room goes brilliantly, except for the bloody body Jared can smell behind some of the curtain decorations.
Get some Febreze, it's fine.
It's not fine, because it's Cafferty, and he has been attacked by a vampire, and now he is a vampire. And he's going for Mina's neck.
Oh no.
Apparently, Saint Germain was unhappy with Cafferty's lack of results.
Jared takes care of Cafferty and takes him to Armand. This doesn't put Mina and Della off patrolling though. Della opts to stay with Libby and take her to one of Armand's safe houses since the mansion is compromised, so Jared will patrol with Mina and meet up with them at the new place later. They opt to investigate the direct hospital across the street from the mansion. Didn't realise it was there. based on a man's vision. Inside, they find some vampires, who are easily staked. As they venture deeper, they come to a patient room with someone strapped down and a white-coated female leaning over them. In the bed is Rosario, the former head of the Slayers, and she's been turned into a vampire too.
Oh, but at least
Yes.
she's still alive, in quotes.
Alive.
At least she's still undead.
Ooh.
At first, the white coat isn't impressed by Mina and Jared bursting in because the doctor will return soon. However, when Mina pulls her stake out, she changes her mind about the situation and starts removing the equipment attached to Rosario before dashing off. Mina and Jared finish freeing Rosario, and then Rosario runs after the assistant and uses really cool electric powers to get her revenge. Together, the three head to the safe house, which just so happens to be Emmeline's home.
Oh. The next morning, Rosario explains what happened after she was taken from the church. Please see Mina and the Slayers. Her electric powers aren't innate, rather the doctor transferred them to her from another vampire who did not survive the procedure. Rosario is the only vampire to have survived, but now Saint-Germain has a solution and will start taking all the vampire powers he wants because he is a loser and has none himself. It's time to have a big planning session to take down the bad guy, so Emmeline suggests going to Toil and Trouble, a members-only magical speakeasy, and I want to go there, which should help protect them. It's time to gather the troops.
Everyone is at Toil and Trouble. Mina, Jared, Libby, Della, Cafferty, Rosario, Emmeline, Armand, and even Elijah. They discuss the problem that is Saint-Germain, the power-hungry vampire who is protected by strong and powerful lackeys who wake up and choose violence. Plenty of money to finance his whims, and a band of slayers on his payroll they don't know if they can trust. Easy. It's fine. It's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. They'll just do it and be a legend. Saint-Germain is holding a dinner party that evening, which Mina and Jared just so happen to have an invitation to. The plan is that when Saint-Germain leaves by the back route to avoid mingling with the common people...
Oh, the commoners. Father, the horses!
Oh, the filthy, filthy peasants. They will jump him with everything they have, as he should have minimal guards with him. The power vacuum it will leave is a problem for the future. Let's not think about that.
Mm-mm.
Libby won't go with them because she's a liability as she doesn't know how to fight, so she'll open the mansion to customers. Gotta be making the money.
Who's acting at the mansion, though, right now? Is there anyone there?
3 people. To be fair, it's only Mina and Jared who never do any work.
That's true. Because they're too busy trying to smooch.
They're too busy smooching.
And finding bodies.
Finding bodies. Honestly, every time the smooch, dead body. You know this. You know, every time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Yes.
Every time there's a dead body, Jared is cock blocked.
Yes. Yep. And it sounds like a gong. You know.
Every time Mina and Jared smooch, somebody dies.
Yes.
These people cannot be allowed to be together.
No. A few hours later, Mina and Jared get ready for the party. It's being held in a swanky mansion in the Garden District, and at first, everything goes well. After the dessert is served, Saint-Germain gives his toast and the room begins to empty. However, things have gone wrong, as only Saint-Germain's vampires remain, making Paige and Beau, who come in during the last course, look nervous. Saint-Germain's lackeys usher Della, Emmeline, Rosario, and Cafferty inside. And none of them have their weapons.
Ah, dang it. Noticeably missing is Armand. But apparently, Saint-Germain has already sucked Armand dry and taken his vision powers. What?
Oh.
What?
No.
No.
No. Why?
Well, it turns out Elijah betrayed them. He wanted Saint-Germain to help look after Tony and also turn him into a vampire. Well, Saint-Germain values loyalty And Elijah has already shown he can't be trusted, so instead of keeping Tony safe, he's going to suck him dry of his powers and also rip out Elijah's throat and kill the man off the page. Surprisingly, Ilian takes hold of Tony gently and ushers him out.
Emmeline steps forward and offers to enter Saint Germain's employ to save the others, saying that having a witch on the payroll would be useful. However, when she tries to blow black powder in his face, Saint Germain snaps her neck. Beau steps forward, telling Saint Germain the killings have to stop, which is a fair point, but the Slayers are proving troublesome and expensive. As a final act, the group tries to attack. Della escapes the grip of the vampire holding her, Jared makes a run for Saint Germain, and Cafferty and Rosario start fighting free. One of the vampire lackeys lets out a scream that paralyzes the group, and one of Saint Germain's people grabs Jared while everyone collapses in pain. As Saint Germain leaves with Jared, he orders Carmilla and Ilian to get rid of the rest of them.
Dang. Carmilla's power is to puppeteer Mina and her friends outside. In the courtyard, they're forced to stop, and Ilian freezes them. As Carmilla is about to attack Mina, Ilian rips out Carmilla's heart and just stands there with the heart in his hand, and it's very, very cool.
Yes.
Ilian won't die at the hands of Saint Germain's doctor, and with Tony he can start a new life with the son he's always wanted. As Saint Germain also threatened Libby because he's not particularly keen on revenge plots, which I find very funny, Della will go and keep her safe, but everyone else needs to get to the hospital and take out Saint Germain before he takes Jared's powers. Beau tells them they need the other Slayers and can arm up with the gear at the Slayer Cave. Mina will also head to her parents and ask them to join the fight.
When Mina gets to her parents' place, they return, ready to go, as are Chase and Hayes, though Chase will stay with Libby and Della. At the hospital, Beau and the Slayers are nowhere to be seen. As Jeff tries to make some big, stirring speech, Cafferty cuts him off and tells them to get inside. Hayes will cut the power at the hospital, which will hopefully delay the procedure, and Jeff and Cafferty will be going with him, which leaves Mina, Rosario, and Emma to take down Saint Germain and his lackeys.
The fight through the hospital is brutal. Powers and stakes are flying. At one point, a ball of blue flames heads straight for Emma, but she just disappears, and a moment later reappears unharmed. It seems Emma has unlocked her vamp power, which apparently reflects her penchant for disappearing. They continue down in the dark, Hayes having cut the power, but seconds later, over the walkie-talkie, they hear screams and fighting in the generator room before the walkie-talkie goes static. They need to continue on and meet up with Paige and Beau. The fight starts again as they move deeper into the hospital, and Jeff and Cafferty join. Luckily, Jeff has brought a surprise from Clem's weapon stash, syringes with suspension of silver in them, which are very effective. As this portion of the fight dies down, Beau is on the ground with his throat ripped out.
They push forward into a room with thick glass. Jared unconscious on a hospital bed, Tony and Ilian on a bed near him, Saint Germain looking smug as he's rolling up his sleeve, and Dr. Azalea prepping for the procedure. Paige starts pulling C4 out of a bag, intending to blow the door into the operating room, but just before the doctor is about to start the procedure, Saint Germain gets a vision of a tarot card in a dead hand and declares that Paige is the Ripper. What?
What? Well, Paige explained she didn't kill the people. She just took advantage of the kills made by overeager vampires to stage the bodies and decided to write the stupid Dear Boss letters to annoy Saint Germain and squeeze more money out of him for the Slayers. Capitalism. Cafferty is going to arrest her ass for tampering with a crime scene once they're done here. Fair. Speaking of, Emma bangs her hands on the window, disappears, and reappears in the operating room. Well, it's too late, as the doctor has already switched on the machine. But it doesn't seem to be working properly, as it starts to smoke, and Saint Germain turns red, his veins bulging, before he begins convulsing and sags to the bed. His corpse instantly starting to decay.
Oh. Emma frees Jared, opens the doors, and they force Dr. Azalea to wake up Jared, Ilian, and Tony. Dr. Azalea starts accusing them of tampering with the machine and freaking out that the vampire elders will destroy her for it. Now awake, Ilian explains he asked Tony to use his mind control powers to get the doctor to mess up the machine, so really, she only has herself to blame. Before the doctor can run off, Rosario uses her powers on her in sweet, sizzling blue revenge. As things are wrapping up and Cafferty is putting Paige into cuffs, Will decides to turn up. He wants revenge for Fiona's death, but Cafferty insists it will happen in a court of law. As they are leaving, Emma extends an invitation to Thanksgiving dinner the following night.
The next evening, Mina, Jared, Libby, Della, Cafferty, Rosario, and Will celebrate Thanksgiving with Jeff, Emma, and Chase. Jeff is hanging up the community now that the apocalypse has been prevented. He wants to stay in New Orleans with his wife and children and be there for his family. Nothing is straightforward, but Mina is happy with that. She's got her friends, she's got her family, she has New Orleans, and a future to be excited about. The end.
The end. Wow. Everyone think about the end of this trilogy while we play ourselves, talking about episode 300 that is happening in just a few weeks. Hey everyone, can you believe that Fictional Hangover is about to have its 300th episode?
We're going to celebrate with a live episode.
Join us on Sunday, June 23rd at 2 p.m. Central Time, 8 p.m. GMT.
Keep an eye on our socials for more information.
Unless you're listening to this episode after the fact, then you should have already listened to it. So, yeah.
Thanks.
Question mark? Standout moments.
I wrote a couple of notes as we were talking about them. I completely forgot, so
Okay.
I'll put them in here. Right, okay. Can we go to that bit that we had to go back to, that we had to put a pin in?
Yes.
And you can do it in voiceover, a newspaper headline voiceover if you want. Because I'm still loving that.
Okay. I can't do it because it didn't happen. So I can't do the newspaper announcer voice. Because it didn't happen. But it should.
Announcing we're going back to what we pinned earlier.
I was really hoping that something would happen in this last book, because it was setting up so well for this exact thing to happen, and at this moment I thought it really was happening. I had worked out in my head that the shepherd, who has these horrible visions of the apocalypse coming to pass in a couple of years, led by a vampire, I swear I thought it was going to be him.
Yes. Because
now he's involved with all of these vampires, and at this moment he knocks on the door to his own home. You don't have to knock on the door to your own home. You just walk straight in.
He didn't have a key.
No. In my head, he knocks on the door and everyone's like, oh my gosh, you're finally here. Oh my gosh. And they don't even pay attention to the fact that he just knocked on the door to his own house. And so they go and they're like, oh my gosh, come here. Oh my gosh, come in. Oh, what's wrong with you? And they're like patting him on the back and stuff. And he's like, hey. But I thought, he is so charismatic. Everyone is following him. He has a fucking cult. He is leading a cult. You can't tell me that a cult leader couldn't turn into a vampire that also has extreme, like, compulsion and whatever powers, and he's gonna take over the world and bring about the apocalypse.
I 100% agree. I think I was fully expecting Jeff, because I refuse to call him the Shepherd. I was fully expecting Jeff to be the apocalypse vampire.
It would have been so good. He would have been the perfect apocalypse vampire.
That's it. You know, the way that he kept it was very specifically mentioned every single time he saw a vampire power being used.
And he was
was mentioned that he took interest in it.
Oh.
And at one point they mentioned a vampire council of elders, and he's like, there's a vampire council of elders. I fully expected Jeff to be turned at some point, and yes, I think that would have been the perfect point for him to have been turned into a vampire, and he himself is the apocalypse, the bringer of the apocalypse.
Yes.
And Mina would have had to kill him, and I would have loved that.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, I don't get why Libby loved him so much.
I don't either. That was really bothering me. Like,
that bothered me the entire time.
He abandoned you.
He abandoned you. In the first and second one, Libby's really like anti-mom as well, because she abandoned them as well.
Yeah.
But now she's all like, yeah, it's fine, I love you all. Family.
Because she's enthralled. She's enthralled by him because he's a cult leader.
Which I get, and I can understand Mina not being as... I can understand why Mina would not be enthralled with him, because, the baggage.
Yeah.
That he can't get past. But yeah, I totally agree. I'm like, Jeff, being the big apocalyptic bad, and not Saint-Germain, as we've been set up to believe since Slayers, would have been absolutely perfect. He's looking at all these vampires and all these vampire powers. He knows about the blood bar now. He knows there's a council of elders. He is so charismatic that in the background he's been going to these places as the vampire with his cult leader charisma.
Yeah.
And he has recruited all the vampires of New Orleans.
Yeah, it would have been perfect. It would have
been absolutely kick-ass. But it was Saint-Germain in the end.
Which is also fine. In his white suit with his cane.
You're all keeping my secrets here.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna spend so much money on you.
Yeah. That's fine. Yeah. It's fine. Can we go back to the beginning now that we skipped to the middle? Can we go back to the beginning? And can I just say that I really liked the scienciness of the idea of cryptids being aliens?
Yeah, I mean, I found it quite funny, if I'm perfectly honest. It was like, really? Okay, that's the leap that they take. Bearing in mind, at the moment, I'm currently listening to something about how lizard people, the conspiracy theory about how lizard people came about. And I'm finding it just absolutely hilarious. So, how these things, people's beliefs, and how these cryptids and random things are real are delightful to me.
I could see it, though. The aliens come and they abduct a person. And they're like, let's make this person more powerful and terrifying. So they make them a vampire. And then they send them back down to Earth. And then, the person's like shambling around on the side of the road, and they don't have their shoes on, but their shoes are nice and tucked away on the side of the road, and like their clothes are all folded up nicely and neatly, and their car's right there, but it's slightly askew. Like, it's perfect. And then, you abduct a weird dog thing and turn it into a chupacabra, and you abduct a weird ape thing and turn it into a Sasquatch. Like, it just... It just is fun. It's a fun twist on where things are typically
I
got
like
to come
the
from.
idea that Mothman was an accident. Sorry, Mothman. It's okay. You are precious to me. But I can imagine Mothman was like, the aliens have got the pew pew gun that does the transmogrification. And they're like, that bloody moth's in here again. Pew 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 pew. And then suddenly, Mothman.
Yes, I think that's fine. I think that's fine. All of this, though, it reminded me of something that I did a long time ago.
Is this Confession Corner?
It is a little bit. And it reminded me that I did this thing, right? I did this thing, I believe back in 2012. I believe it was 12 years ago that I did this thing with some of my library friends, and it didn't go very far. In fact, there's only one thing on this website, but the website is called dogsarealiens.wordpress.com. And we were gonna try to make this a whole thing where we were gonna convince people that dogs are aliens and that they're slowly morphing into like one being and then swapping, and then the dogs are gonna be in charge of the world and the humans are gonna be led around on, leashes because dogs are aliens. Anyway, so that reminded me of that, and I'm sad nothing came from that.
I mean, birds aren't real apparently, so why can't dogs be aliens? Why the hell not?
I am not talking about nothing more coming from that. I'm talking about nothing coming from the scienciness of cryptids being aliens.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
but
okay.
I wonder.
I thought you were propagating the lie again.
No, but
I wanted more aliens. I wanted more cryptids. I wanted more cult.
Well, see, what I'm hoping for here, which Mina and the cult, by the way, the cult should have been her father becoming the vampire apocalypse, and that's the cult. But anyway, I am thinking that maybe this is going to be the start of like a new series or something for Amy, maybe, and it's just like, hey, here's a little bit of aliens and here's a little bit of cryptids just like sprinkled in. Maybe that's what she's going to do next. We don't know, because this is the end of a trilogy.
Potentially, but I don't like just the mention of Bigfoot. I want freaking Bigfoot. So
right?
Yes.
Yeah, I know.
But yeah, I personally wanted more cult.
Yeah.
I wanted more cult. It's in the title. I want more cult.
Yeah.
And I think you're right. If Jeff had turned into if the shepherd is the cult leader, if that happened, like he became this massive vampire cult leader of New Orleans, if that had happened in the background, that would have leaned into it a bit more for me. Yes, I agree. But on the positive side, I'm taking it in a different direction.
Okay.
Mina keeps asking for help and keeps people informed.
I know, she's so smart.
Doesn't think she can solve everything by herself. She makes sure she calls Cafferty.
Yes.
I have some information for you. Do you have some information for me?
Yes.
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 Let's call such and such. Let's leave a voice message. I love that. I love the fact she wasn't right. Let's go and deal it all myself.
I know. Let's call our grown-up police officer friend.
Yes. Let's keep people informed.
Yes.
Okay, we've got this big scary vampire thing. You know what? Let's talk to Armand.
Yes.
You know, I really liked the fact that she kept people in the loop. No secrets, nothing in the dark, and I really, really appreciated that.
Yes.
It was so very sensible of her. So props to Mina for not being a dumb teen. Like you're getting a lot of YA.
Yes.
I really did like that.
Same.
So,
Yes.
Yes.
However,
flip siding it, how many freaking deaths?
So many deaths.
So we had Fiona, Armand, Emmeline, Ellie, Bo, God knows how many, Elijah, that's just the named characters off the top. Or his. 7 named characters I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah.
And then X amount of vampires. Oh, Miranda. One of the lackeys. Or was it Carmilla?
Carmilla.
Probably both of them. Oh, Saint Germain. Dr. Azalea.
Yes.
Dr. Azalea's assistant.
Yes. So many deaths.
Many deaths.
Just a big honkin' pile of deaths.
Yes. And if you weren't dead, you were turned, it felt like.
Yes. Can I ask you a question about user 87323?
Please do.
Okay. So I've been like this entire episode, if you're watching the video of it, you will notice that I keep turning my head down, and it's because I'm looking at my phone because I'm trying to figure out what 87323 means. And I was thinking, like, in old school internet, like, you know, the 8 represents certain letters, and, you know, 7 and 323, they all have letters attached to them. You know, back when you had the flip phone and you were sending text and you had to press the button 6 or 7 times to get any letters to come up. So I was trying to figure out what could this word be? What could this mean? But then I just did a search, and 87323 is a zip code in New Mexico. So is user 87323, like, were they in the community as well?
They could have been part of Left with Clem in his community at the same time.
Yeah.
It is possible.
I've just been trying to figure out what 87323 means, because that's a very specific string of numbers. And I feel
I thought it could have been like date of birth, but that would have been 87 and they would have been far too young for 1995.
Yeah, or it would have been 1923 and they would have been far too old.
Unless they were a vampire.
Yeah.
But I also, you've raised user 87323. She was, I thought they would have been in a little bit more. Like, it felt that whole section with the internet cafe, bless, infiltrating the chat rooms. Oh, historical!
It was really nice.
It was so retro. And then meeting in the arcades. Oh, delightful!
So good.
I felt like user 87323 should have been in a little bit more in some capacity. It felt very pointed that they were there, and even if it was just that they are, it does turn out that they're a member of the community or a member of Clem's group, or so I don't know, something. I felt like something. It was a very pointed character. You were given a description. They had that bonding moment over Tekken.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like there should have been a little bit more of a meat to that character.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. Can I ask you a question?
Sure.
Why did Mina, who is the shiny, brand new, extremely inexperienced, just learning how to fight Slayer, keep going on patrol, and not the experienced and extremely kick-ass Della? Well, if it's just to protect Libby, then leave Mina with Libby. Leave Jared and Mina with Libby. Della, go and do your job.
No, look, it's called Mina and the Slayers. Mina and the Undead. Mina and the Cult. Not Della. So it has to be Mina at the star of
it has to be Mina because we have to see her. We have to see the story progress through her eyes, which happened when Saint Germain was like, "I want to speak to Mina and Jared. Come with me, Jared. You will work for me. You will be my lackey because you can go out in the sun." And the only reason that Mina was there was to, 1, witness, and 2, for him to go, "Or I'll kill her."
Right.
I'll kill her, y'all. I will kill your girlfriend if you do not come work for me. You will take this wonderful piece of technology that I call a pager. What will people come up with next, I tell you? I apologise for a really bad accent. Just go with it.
Just go. Just
Go with it.
just keep going.
I genuinely forgot Mina was even in the room at that point when Saint Germain was threatening Jared.
Well, she had to be there. She had to be there so we would know what was going on, and to be threatened. Yeah.
Also, I would like to point out they got invited to a lot of parties and a lot of shindigs and a lot of do's.
Yeah.
Like, Fiona's birthday was a bit of a surprise. I didn't expect that. But like, they had the plan to go to the fair. They had Saint Germain's dinner party. They had the bonfire, and then put the bucket off to New Mexico with no return date. It's a good job they came back in a hurry. Otherwise, they missed everything.
Yeah. The fair and the bonfire, I can get as being things that everyone just goes to, so that's fine. But birthday party invitations and dinner party invitations, I don't know. That was a lot.
To be fair, Fiona's birthday party was probably a very last second thing because...
Well, if Will had anything to do with it, it was. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think that I would have the ability to go to all these parties and things. I just want to take a nap.
Oh my god.
There's too many things going on.
Every night.
And then they have Thanksgiving dinner, which it takes a long ass time to prepare Thanksgiving dinner. That's just it's tiring. It's tiring. It's too much.
I'm at that point in my life where I'm like, you know what? Let's just have a sandwich and have a nap.
Yeah.
Shall we just order pizza? Grand.
Yes. Or, they snuggle up and watch a movie. Like, yeah, that is my speed. Let's just sit on the couch, put on Back to the Future, and that's enough. That's enough for me. This is too busy.
Agree.
It's too busy.
No, I couldn't be bothered with all that. I mean, I do want to go to the fair. Don't get us wrong, I would go to the fair. The bonfire sounds like a health and safety hazard. I ain't going there. But I'll go to the fair.
Bonfires are fun.
I don't like bonfires. I don't like that. No, I'm just not the biggest fan of them. I worry for the hedgehogs.
What if you were to throw a vampire baby into a bonfire? Would you like it then?
That's completely different. That is a party.
It is a party.
That's a party. Can we throw Tony in the fire?
Yes, throw Tony into the fire. No, don't throw Tony into the fire. He can't help it. He didn't choose to become a vampire. He was forced.
But it'd be fun.
It would be fun. But for some reason, Tony, I'm just thinking of The Shining, where Danny is always talking to Tony in his finger. It's Tony. That's the only thing that I can think of when I think of Tony. I'm sorry, Mrs. Torrance. Danny's not here right now. Red rum. I'm sorry. That's just all I keep thinking of.
I love that. Tony is living in your finger.
Yes. Until we throw him into the bonfire.
Throwing baby vamps into the flames.
I mean, that's one of our favorite things that we do sometimes.
Sometimes. You know what? It's been a while since we've done. Have a movie night. No. It's been a long time since we've thrown a baby vampire into a bonfire.
We just need to do it. We just need to roast us up a bonfire and toss a baby vampire on it.
We can have s'mores afterwards.
Yeah. I think that sounds like a great plan.
I've still got one of my s'more kit. I've still got the s'more kit you got me.
Well, I mean, crack it open. Toss a baby vampire on the fire to get it, roaring.
I'll use the tea light one.
Okay. Yeah, that's probably less mess.
Yeah. I wonder if it smells.
Probably not. It's probably an unscented candle, because then your marshmallow might taste funny.
Well, no, the vampire when it's burning.
Oh, I thought you were talking about the candle.
No, because if I'm going to make s'mores afterwards, I don't want that char taste. I'll be s'mores.
The char taste is the good taste, though.
That's true. Okay. Can I say something that actually left a bitter taste in my mouth?
Sure.
And I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy. And I will say this to Amy. How dare she kill Armand off page?
I know, Armand.
I am so upset.
Oh, yes, that was
so
devastating.
Devastated that he got murdered. I'm off page. It wasn't the fact he was killed per se.
Yeah.
It's the fact he was killed off page.
Yeah, that was painful.
After all he's been through and all he's done.
That one hurt.
Yeah.
That one hurt a lot. Moment of silence for Armand. Now I just remembered the time that we poured one out for the possum.
I'll pour some True Blood out for him.
Yeah, good. Who's your favorite character?
Probably Cafferty and Rosario, and I do like the fact that they started coming together at the end. I thought it was cute.
Yeah, that was really cute.
Cafferty has his head screwed on.
Yeah.
He's a very sensible fella.
Yes.
I just like him as a general character, and I liked Rosario. I liked the fact she was like, you know what, I've been tortured, I've been genetically played with, I've been turned against my will, I am getting my revenge. And she got her revenge.
Yes, with electricity powers. How cool is that?
Sizzling blue electricity powers.
So
yeah,
cool.
I'm
so
totally
cool.
with them.
Yeah.
And you know what? I hope everything works out nicely with whatever they do. I think Rosario will obviously take over the Slayers again.
Yes.
If Cafferty stays on the police force, fine. But I've got a feeling that Cafferty is going to inherit Empire of the Dead.
He might, but also, I mean, being a vampire police officer could be a really helpful thing.
Yeah, I just think he's going to have a side job.
Probably.
He's going to have a side employment.
Probably, yeah. Okay, I want to backtrack just a little bit and talk about the powers. There were a lot of really cool powers in this book, and you know, we were just talking about Rosario's electricity powers, and Jared can heal himself and others, which is that's really cool. And Tony and Will have mind control powers, kind of. Well, Will's is a forgetting, but still, so many cool powers. And like you, well, half of like you, Cafferty is my favorite character, but I wish more than anything that he had gotten the teleportation powers instead of Emma.
Yes.
And I'm going to say Emma didn't deserve to have those powers. And like, oh, it's written off because, yeah, she's always disappearing. She's always disappearing, so she gets a disappearing power. No, it should have gone to Cafferty because Cafferty is always there when Mina needs him.
Yes.
So Cafferty should have gotten that power.
Yes, I agree. Cafferty didn't display any powers, did he?
I don't think, well, unless super stubbornness, I believe, is a quote in the book.
Yeah, that's my vampire power.
Super spite.
Super spite. No, I 100% agree with you. I am 1,000,000% agree with you that Cafferty should have gotten the teleportation powers instead of Emma. And I know part of what reasoning it's given is that powers are displayed under specific stress and duress.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Emma's been in that situation before where she would have needed to use those teleportation powers when John Carter was attacking. So all the way back on, really book 1, book 2.
Yeah.
She's been a vampire for a long, long time.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't
know. It felt odd, and I agree. I think Cafferty, in a positive light, should have had them because, like you say, he's always there for Mina, and it's in his nature as a police officer to come and be there when people are needed.
Yeah, and I don't feel like we should keep rewarding the shepherd and Emma. They're terrible
it's Jeff.
fucking parents.
It's Jeff. He doesn't get to have a cool title like the shepherd because that was in Firefly. I liked Shepherd and Firefly. Jeff is Jeff.
Jeff and Emma are terrible parents, and I don't think that they should get rewarded with cool powers unless the cool powers are you becoming the charismatic cult leader and bringing about the end of the world. That would have been fine. I would have been okay with that.
Fully
would have
support.
been okay with that.
100 million % agree.
Yeah. That's really my surprise, I think, is that he didn't end up being the big bad and starting the apocalypse.
Yeah. I agree with that, and like take it a bit further, that he gave up on the apocalypse so easy. Like he's like, oh, okay, so Saint Germain must obviously be the big guy. He's dead now. I'm done with all that. I'm retiring. But he knows all about the Vampire Council of Elders. I mean, Cafferty Rosario at the end joined the council.
Yeah.
And he's also seen all the other super cool wicked powers, but he's like, yeah, I'm done now. It felt weird.
Yeah, done. It's fine.
I was surprised by him just going, yeah, I'm done. Also, I think I'm also surprised that Chase is there, Libby and Mina's half-brother, and that is his excuse for being a jerk?
Yeah, because it's not like he's mad at them because, oh, my dad left me to go and spend time with you. Didn't happen. That did not happen.
He's had them longer than they've had them.
Yeah.
He's
I
just
don't know.
a jerk.
He's just a jerk. I mean, sometimes you are just a jerk, and that's fine.
It's fair enough.
Yeah, sometimes. I was going to say sometimes you need to slap a bitch, but that's not the same. That's not the same thing. Sometimes you're just a jerk.
Sometimes you're just a garbage person. Don't be a garbage person, though.
Yeah, don't be a garbage person, but...
Yeah. There was a lot in this book, wasn't there?
There was a lot. In this book.
I'm a little sad that the Vampire Ripper was just capitalism in the end. But am I a bit sad that it was just capitalism in the end, or was it funny?
I think it's funny.
Probably
I like
funny.
it.
Yeah.
I like it. I don't like Paige, but...
Who did you think was the Vampire Ripper?
Well, I didn't. I didn't think that it was anyone really that we knew because it was so obviously pointing to Will and Fiona.
Yeah.
And so I knew that it wasn't going to be Will and Fiona. So I didn't know who it was going to be. I wasn't expecting it to be Paige, but I didn't think it was going to be Will because they were really like trying to force it to be Will.
Yeah, all the red herrings pointed to Will and Fiona. It's like, it's a male vampire, and we've just learned he's got fat mind control powers.
Yeah, and
this is a female vampire. Oh,
yes.
It could be Fiona.
Yeah.
No, it was too obvious.
Yeah, definitely not them.
But I don't know who I would have liked it to have been otherwise. So,
yeah,
but yeah, capitalism.
It was capitalism, and that's, you know what, that's fine.
Capitalism is the true Ripper.
Yes, that's true. Okay, Claire, that brings us to time.
Yes. Pew pew time.
Pew, 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 pew.
Would you rather? We asked on social media, would you rather prove the existence of aliens or cryptids?
It is a very good question. And it's all because of our bestie who has joined us today, Amy McCall. All her fault we asked this awesome question. Yay.
I mean, it's one of the important questions, I feel. Like, we need to answer this. We need to know what the people say.
We do. All right.
Well, democracy spoke. Facebook, 63% want to prove the existence of cryptids. Instagram, 83%. And on TikTok, playing 50-50. They're happy for anything.
No way it was 50-50. It was not balanced at all. Someone must have
that's
come
what the
in.
TikTok on my side was.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Right. Let's do some comments, because we know Amy likes to, like, you know, judge other people's comments, so you can
judge is a strong word. That sounds like I'm going to sit and like
we
critiques
judge
on each one.
It's judge, weigh them. Do I like it? Can I steal it? That kind of.
Yeah.
Judging.
I mean, I'll just try and give some positive, uplifting feedback. So
Yeah, Amy
you
is
don't
not
have
a
to be
judger.
positive. Don't feel like you have
No.
to be.
I'm a primary school teacher. It's ingrained into my
She-
very being. I don't know how to be negative. And I'm
No,
a parent
This
of
is
a
your
4-year-old.
outlet.
It's like, yeah, I suppose I could go really dark just for your benefit, but I
There's
don't think
no
I've got
way.
it in me, honestly.
There's no way.
Your...
I'd live for that day, but that day is not today. You're so precious. You can't be evil.
One day I might just snap. Can you imagine if I snap mid-podcast
That
and
would
I
be
just let it all
amazing.
out?
It
I
would
mean,
be.
there must be some of it in there
Please feel
because
free.
it's on the page, right? I mean, I write some really nasty creatures, but I just don't actually have it in me.
No.
I exercise
You're a
it
straight up
onto the pages
murderer.
of books.
You're a straight up murderer. We counted at least 12 named deaths. Named
I
deaths.
mean,
You're
there
a
are a
straight
few.
up murderer.
And there are a few like fairly important ones too, but we'll probably
Exactly,
talk about those
exactly.
later.
We will.
Oh,
we will.
I've
Okay.
got-
I'll do the
I've
Homer
got-
Simpson
I've-
back away into the bush.
Yeah, you better. You better. I have a bone to pick. Right, moving on. Colin on Facebook said, defo cryptids, we'd have to be pretty damn arrogant to believe that we're the only intelligent species out there in this great wide funky universe. So I know aliens exist. They haven't come to visit yet, so the only people doing the probing are the government. But cryptids, the thought that this great big creepy beasties out there on this mostly explored planet of ours is mind-blowing. I mean, who doesn't want to believe that there's a Bigfoot down the road at the local cave? That would be awesome. Claire and I have already encountered the spawn of Mothman many years back on the way home from the cinema. I want to eat Bigfoot. I want to go squatching.
Katrina on Facebook said cryptids, in theory, should be easier to find with them living on Earth and all. Plus, it could be like an adventure trying to find them.
Candace on Facebook said, I prefer aliens just because I feel like it could open the door to more answers to the universe.
Do we
Bree.
want those answers though? That's my concern. That could open a whole can of worms that we don't want to know.
Bree on Facebook said aliens. Then I can have my own Mass Effect adventures.
Cindy on Facebook, I have a fascination with aliens. But does she have a fascination with alien probing?
Oh, probably not. Let's say no to that one because that's my mom. Lydia on
Hard
Facebook.
no.
It's a hard no.
There's a hard no anyway, and being your mum, like that kind of adds an extra level of no to the nose.
Yeah. Lydia on Facebook says, I want to yes.
Is
She
that
just
just to
wants-
both?
Yes, all of
all
them.
of it?
Yes.
All of
Okay.
the above.
Knowing
I feel
Lydia,
that's a good
probably
answer.
yes.
Yes.
Coral on Facebook said, hard question because I would like to see both, but when you really think about it, it's a little scary. A big hairy man looking thing in the woods. Nope, I'll go with the shiny ship in the sky with the cute little green man.
But are they cute or are they terrifying, probing, injecting? Hate injections. The thought of some alien poking needles into me is actually my worst nightmare. So, yeah. I don't know. Cute. I don't think aliens are cute. I'm sorry if they're out there. I think they're big, like slime creatures that would eat our faces.
You heard it here first.
Yeah, I know. That's
Aliens,
my
big slimy
prediction.
creatures.
Yeah, I know. I'm just gonna stake that as my claim as to what I think aliens are. They're gonna poke you with stuff, and it's not gonna be pleasant.
We have a few more comments. Ariel on Facebook says, well, the government already admitted aliens are real, so I'm going to go with the Squatch. Then we get both.
And Joey on TikTok said, aliens! Would love to see the excuses Christians come up with.
And finally, Crinoline Lafroig on Threads said, since I'm not exactly sure what cryptids are, I'm going with aliens.
I did Google it a few times when I was writing the book. I really wanted to make sure because it's quite debatable, like whether some things fall into category cryptid or not.
I have a whole book.
I need to read. I mostly did Googling for this, admittedly, because I knew quite a lot of stuff. Yeah, that's cool. I need that. Should probably have bought it before the book, but never mind.
Okay, so
There are so many cryptids. Technically, aliens are cryptids as well. Just
Yeah, I know. This is the thing. And I did go down a rabbit hole of our vampires cryptids. I was like, oh my God, my brain hurts.
Yep.
And I came out with But if they're human in aspect, are they a cryptid? That was the
So's
kind of
Bigfoot.
challenge.
So's Mothman.
Well, yeah, this
Most
is.
most of them are humanoid in some way.
But that's why
I've read a
it's
lot.
so that's why it's so brilliant in the beginning of the book with the aliens abducting people and doing experiments on them, and then they come back as cryptids.
I really don't know where that came from. I think that might have been a me and Kev like what if conversation, and we just went a little bit wild. And it was last book, so I was like, I'm just gonna let the weird all come out at this point. Like, I'm not gonna hold anything back. So yeah, I really don't know
Did someone
what
have some
moment.
beers beforehand?
I mean, I really don't know. Like, did I eat cheese and then have a nightmare?
Was it
I
floor
don't know.
cheese? Did you eat
No,
floor cheese?
I'm never gonna live on the floor cheese.
You're
I
not.
totally. And it depends. I still maintain it depends on the floor it has fallen on. Carpet, no. Laminate flooring, fine.
It's fine.
I love floor cheese conspiracies are the best conspiracies.
Yeah, there's a hierarchy of floor cheese, definitely.
I choose aliens. I mean, I think that I already think that they exist, but I'm gonna pick them because I would like to go on an outer space adventure sometime. Or what if it's the aliens that are like inside the core of the Earth sort? You know?
Oh my god, you
Like,
just sent a whole shiver through my body.
Ooh.
I hate that thought. Like
No.
aliens just finally making themselves known and they're already inside the Earth. Like
yes. And they're
That
just,
It's very
terrifies me.
Transformers.
I was really thinking Pacific Rim, but it's fine.
I mean, isn't there some HD worlds in
That's-
there as well?
it's
Was
time
War
to
of
watch.
the Worlds?
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah.
I've
So,
watched there's a YouTube channel which actually Amy you like. It's called Quetzalcoatl or Nutshell, and it's educational. And they cover a wide range. My son watches them, and there was one where it was if are aliens real, and scientifically, it's basically saying that aliens are definitely a possibility, but technologically they're probably at the same stage that we are, because if you take into consideration when the Big Bang occurred and how long evolutions take, the chances are that yes, there are aliens, but they are probably about the same evolutionary stage as us. So it's not interstellar, and even if it was, it actually said something. It was talking about how you can only saturate the universe with a certain amount of spacefaring entities, as like aliens as well. And I was like, that's so interesting. So go and check out this Quetzalcoatl on YouTube. They're very
I will, that sounds
interesting. And
amazing.
they're all based in actual fact. They cite the sources. It's very good. But yeah, there was one that was just about aliens. I was like, oh, so I don't have to worry about alien abduction because they're probably just about the same as us, given our evolution against the Big Bang. And besides, I'm going squatching. I need to go squatching. I love Bigfoot and Mothman. Oh, I love them both.
you love Mothman. I feel like you love Mothman more than you love anyone else.
I don't know.
I feel like you
This
love
is where we
so
get to
much-
see Mothman. I'm so jealous of it.
This is my little Mothman.
Oh, it's
My mum knitted him
so cute.
or crocheted him. She I don't know. But I also have a Bigfoot that Amanda sent me, and she sent me this hat. They are genuine. So I love them.
I'm with you. I'm afraid Claire wins for me on this one. Team Cryptid. I'm terrified of aliens. I don't know what it is, but when people talk about aliens, it makes my toes curl. And I think it is just watching too much X-Files and all the absolutely terrifying things that aliens do in fiction. I just can't even and also I don't know about you two, but the concept of space makes me feel anxious. Like if I try and think about how things like light speed and traveling through space work, my brain just can't cope and it starts to try and fold in on itself. So yeah, cryptids. I'd much rather go walking through the woods and see some fluffy, vaguely humanoid creature in the safe far distance than be abducted by an alien. 100%.
That's it, exactly that. They're always off in the distance. You never get clear videos
Yeah.
of them.
Yeah, and I mean exactly. I mean, they're on Earth with us, right? If they're here at all, so they're hiding pretty well. They're staying away from humans. Get a little nice snap. They may be cute and fluffy, you know. I don't think aliens are cute and fluffy. I do think they're terrifying. So there's a chance a cryptid could be really cute and lovable and pet-like. Like imagine a little baby Mothman that you could take home, or a little baby Yeti or something. Like adorable, right?
Oh,
Hmm.
yes.
Keep it in a little like
Exactly.
chilled environment. It would be awesome.
You could
I'm just going to adopt a
grass.
Yeti, and yeah,
Oh
no
my
to
God.
aliens, please. They can
See, look,
stay where they are in space. And I'm happy what you said, Claire. If they are evolutionary at a level of us and they can't get to us, then yeah, that's fine with me.
Cool.
no, see, I need the gruesome. I need the horror. I need the scary.
So what
I'm
you're
here
saying
for
is
it.
if there's an abduction going, like Claire and I will stay in the woods and you can go and be the representative
Yes.
fictional hangover
I will.
space
I
guinea
will.
pig.
Yes.
Okay, cool. You
I
heard
will
that,
do
didn't you,
that.
Claire? Amanda has just
I
volunteered
did.
on our
It's
behalf.
recorded. It's fine.
Yep.
I'm going to be in the woods with a stick and knocking on trees
Yeah.
and going, ah! Trying to get
Yeah.
the Bigfoots.
I
I'll be the
really can
lunatic
see
in
you
the
doing
woods.
that. Like I can totally see you practicing your like authentic Bigfoot call just to get it right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There is a variety of Bigfoot that Amanda told me about that is in Arkansas called the Fook monster as well.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, when I
Bonus
eventually go
points.
over there, can I please go find a Fook monster? And she's like, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Can you run around the woods shouting for it as well? Because that would be hilarious.
And I'm
There
gonna
will be
record
videos
it.
of me waddling around them,
Yes.
going, ah!
Yep, it's happening. It's happening. We just have to get
And
you
then I'm
here.
going to Waffle House for breakfast.
Yes. We'll go to Waffle House afterward. Okay. Next question. Would you rather be part of Clem's group, the community, or Saint Germain's crew?
I feel like there's one of these that can easily be eliminated, but let's see, did people have opinions on
Oh
social
no,
media?
this one's just
Is
us.
this just for us? Okay.
This one's just us.
I mean, are any of you going to try and argue on behalf of Clem? Because I don't think he's got much to redeem. His poor group, like they're a bit.
I worry for their
like-
personal hygiene. I can't
Yeah.
imagine they take showers often.
I just worry about a lot of things like mental health, physical health.
Yeah.
Like, there's not a lot of wholesome and healthy. It's like the worst bits of the community broke off and created their own vile, like extreme version. So yeah, I can't argue on behalf of Clem. I did try and think. I was like, can I put myself in the position of these people? And I couldn't do it.
No.
I could, on the other hand, the other two, I was like, actually, okay, seriously, Saint Germain's people, vampires, all have a cool power. Like if you're in his team, you are one of the vampire elite, and you can probably do something like zap people with your electric powers, like throw people around with your mind. That's pretty cool. And then the community just mostly grow vegetables and like ogle Mina's dad, who's pretty hot. So I mean, if you take some parts of the community out of the equation, I think that sounds kind of nice. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Scary Vampire. But yeah, I could argue for being part of the community too, with a couple of adjustments to ideology.
Okay.
I have
Yeah,
issues with Jeff.
No,
Sorry,
but
what was that? You have issues with what?
I have issues with Jeff. I can't call him the shepherd. It's got to be Jeff.
I mean,
I've got
yeah, this
issues
is
with
one of
him,
my
so-
issues. Like, if you're a cult leader, you've got to have people talk about your group and yourself with capitalized like names. And he's called Jeff Shepherd, so that was a bit of an easy win. I fed that one in I don't know if anybody noticed that I put that in an early book just so I could do this in this book.
Did not
If anyone
notice
was
that.
paying attention.
No. Obviously not.
No, I've forgotten. That was years ago when book 1 came out. I forgot about that. But I have fixed it in my schemes. With I can meld the two together because as we were reading the book, the point where Jeff knocked on the front door of his own house, I was like, he's a vampire. He's a vampire. He's going to be the one to bring about the apocalypse. And that didn't happen, and I was devastated.
You know
But
what?
I was
That
like,
did cross my mind for a brief moment. It did. And then I was like, actually, but I kind of already had the other stuff, but like I just had that as a flash of that. I may use something like that in the future, but that did not happen on this
It could have
occasion.
been because he has so much charisma, and he could have led a cult like nobody's business as a vampire with charisma powers, and he knocked on his own door.
I know, I just didn't want me to have two vampire parents. I was like, okay, at some point, this poor girl has got to not be friends with or relate to somebody who's a vampire. Like, she has to have some human people still left in her circle. I did vampire quite a lot of people in her life, so I kind of thought I'd leave her with that one.
But you would have had to kill him in the end, so it's fine. And
Oh,
you know what?
But again,
She's emotionally
like,
distant from him because he's an
Yeah.
asshole. So
Yeah.
you're like, you know what? You've abandoned me, mate. Have a steak.
No, yeah, but Mina's more hopeful. Like she wants,
No,
she
you're-
knows that there are problems there, but she has never had a family, and she kind of wants to
It's-
give them a chance. So
it's
let's
just
let her
the-
have
Sometimes you've
that.
got to let the blood go, though. Sometimes the blood relatives are the bad relatives.
I mean, this
and
is the
I
whole
think
question,
Mina
isn't
has
it?
the strength in her, and she's a realist, that she could have staked Jeff after he became a vampire and used his vampire powers to start a vampire cult in New Orleans to bring about the apocalypse, because it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Amanda goes into a lot of detail in the main episode about this. It's fantastic, love it, and I'm now gutted that that's not actually the ending.
So
But,
Amanda's
yeah.
just writing whole alt you Mina for us if anybody
Yes,
wants
There was a
that. That's cool.
completely
Yes.
alt Mina.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been working on
Yeah.
that, and she is slightly less precious because I've got my hand in there, so she's got.
Yeah, I know. I was just gonna think I'd love to see what you would do with her, like the kind of the me that has kept her on a certain moral path. I feel like you might have just steered her in a few different directions. I would like to see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know if you could handle it though, because you're so sweet.
Probably not.
You're so good. You're
Thank
so
you.
good, and this Mina would become evil, but it's
Yeah.
fine. It's
I
fine.
mean,
it's not really happening.
No, it's not. It's okay. I'm not gonna go and have nightmares about that. So we're okay.
No.
I just go
Oh.
cry after the episode and Amanda's destroying me forever.
No,
I mean,
no.
you're making Mina evil. In my headcanon, she was just, averting the apocalypse, which is fine.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah.
So the
That
fact that it's an
fine.
asshole
Yeah.
dad,
Yeah.
It's fine. It's fine.
I just
love
feel
it,
like
in fact,
Amanda
you
might have
totally
taken her
should.
on a few detours along the way too. Like, I mean, Will's pretty hot, isn't he? Like, something may have happened there, and
I mean, let's face it, Mina's been through a lot and she should be in therapy, so her outlet is not healthy.
yeah. I mean, she just stabs stuff with sticks instead of going to therapy. So yeah,
Stick stabbing is good therapy.
yeah. I think that. I mean, it's all in
good
a fairly short.
therapy.
It's a short time frame, isn't it? I feel like Mina has some therapy in her future, but
Yeah, it
for now
hasn't.
she's just
It hasn't been that long, in the grand scheme of things. So like, she just hasn't had time because she lives in the United States now, friends. It takes a long time to get in with doctors and find a doctor that you like. It takes a long time. So she.
And I imagine it costs a lot of money too.
It
Like
does.
anything related to medical in the US
And,
is like a
you know,
bit scary, isn't
she-
it?
But this is the 90s, so it's not as expensive. It's
Well,
90s expensive.
This is true.
But also, she probably doesn't have insurance, or if she does, it's probably not very good.
She doesn't have
So-
insurance, I can tell you that.
She
Definitely
doesn't.
not.
But she's going to go to police school, so when she
Yeah,
knows
she-
she's
yeah,
at police
she
school,
will, yeah.
she'll probably get insurance then.
Yeah.
But also, will she pass the psychology tests?
I mean,
I think she's smart enough to.
yeah. Yeah, I think she's fine. I think that,
Yeah.
and also the New Orleans police force, I think, is predisposed to kind of sniff out the people who can deal with New Orleans' more like arcane issues too. They're like, yeah, she would be one of like the kind of X-Files
Yeah.
spooky squad.
I
Like,
have a pitch for you, Amy. I'm going to
okay.
pitch this now while we talk about it.
Yeah.
You can just make it a short story novella, but it's Mina as I was going to say space cadet. No, as a police cadet.
That's a
okay?
whole other thing. Like you've
That's
just
a whole
totally
other
given
thing.
me.
That's
yeah.
a whole
She
new
doesn't-
words. No, but as
She
a police
doesn't want to
cadet,
deal with aliens.
I
No,
know.
yeah,
She's
well,
afraid
put
of
these one
aliens.
side. She's at
Okay.
police academy, and you can
Yeah.
go down the police academy route if you so desire to niche that into the 90s. But her partner has absolutely no idea about the paranormal, and she's just having these weird, awkward conversations with her partner. And it's mainly just them sitting in the squad car and, like, eating donuts, as they are stereotypically want to do, and then talking. And then Mina says something, and her partner's like, "What?" And she's like, "Nothing." So she just keeps dropping all these hints, and it's like, what, nothing, until
I mean,
the big paranormal.
there might be
reveal at
some
the
questions too. Like, Yeah, I think you've got something there. But fast forward 5 years and Jared still looks the same, and Mina's suddenly this weird, like mid-20s or 30-year-old dating like a boy who's in his late teens.
Yeah.
Like it starts to get a lot. This
She's-
is why
she's gonna be a
I
cougar.
I can't see there being too many more Mina books. It starts to get creepy if we go too much further into the future.
Okay, we need to cover that later because we have to get through Would You Rather, but that's going to come back up.
Mhm.
That
Okay.
question is
I'll
going to
shelve
come
that one
back
for
up.
later.
Did you
Okay,
answer
yes,
this
put a
one,
pin
by
in
the
that
way,
one, and we'll come back
Amanda?
to it. Oh, why
You
would
can
I
answer this one.
Why would I ever choose anything other than vampires? There's
I
not a
mean,
question.
That's cool. I'm just
Yeah.
checking. We're all like on the same crew. That's cool with cool powers.
Like unless it's my alternate universe community, vampire community led by charismatic Jeff, who's bringing about the apocalypse, then no, I'm choosing Saint Germain's crew.
Cool.
Yeah.
Next question. Would you rather go to the swamp compound or the creepy hospital by yourself?
Neither
On your
of them.
own.
Why did I write
Nobody
those
is
set-
with you.
And why did I write those settings to make those be the choices?
It's all your fault.
I think on balance, I'm more scared of swamps. I feel like there's more things that could incidentally kill you in the swamp even before you got to the like weird cult living in the swamp. So yeah, I'm probably on balance more scared of swamp wildlife than I am going into creepy hospital. I quite like abandoned buildings. Like I like photographing them from afar. I haven't been in one and been scared it's going to fall down on my head or anything. But yeah, I would, out of two terrible options, I would choose that as the least terrible.
Oh, I'm going ghost hunting in the creepy hospital.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Easy.
I think that there's more potential there, isn't there? I just think swamps like a recipe for getting bitten by something that lives there. So
Yeah.
vampire or
If vampires are real and witches are real, well, I'm sorry, but werewolves have got to be real as well, and ghosts have got to be real. So let's go find them.
Yeah. There's probably some witch doctors, some voodoo practitioners also hanging out in the swamp, and there's probably a rougarou down there,
yeah.
and probably some sort of weird alligator man. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah,
I was just going for the real alligators, but yeah, the kind of alligator cryptid is probably also doing the rounds too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, so I'm gonna hang out in the creepy hospital too. But we all have to be by ourselves.
Yeah,
When
that
we're
does
in
make
the
it a little
hospital.
worse. It's
Yeah.
still not, isn't it? I mean, for Claire, it might be a fun time. For me, that's still not a fun
Oh.
time.
The ghost hunts I've been on, they're like, "Oh, does anybody want to go into this dark room by themselves and sit for an hour?" I'm like, "Yeah," because I call that quiet nap time.
I do. If I go
Do
on
you know how
tours
often
and they
I get that
say,
opportunity?
yeah, I mean, I'm not that extreme, but I do go, like, if they say there's always a cold spot there, do anyone want to stand? I'm like already in the cold spot. I would go there, but I wouldn't go like into the room by myself. No.
I don't know what I would do. If I were by myself going and exploring, then yes, I would go and sit in a dark room by myself. But if I'm with a tour group and they're like trying to scare me, I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to be fake scared. I want to be real scared. So by myself, I think makes it better.
Yeah, I get that
Well, your
because there is going to be
imagination
some.
can-
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't want some yokel because we are in, the South. I don't want some yokel trying to like bang on something or doing a jump scare or something. No, I want to be scared by the creepy ghost or whatever is happening in the creepy hospital by myself.
The actual malevolent ghost as opposed to
Yes.
the humans pretending to be
Yeah.
a malevolent ghost. Yeah.
Yeah,
got it.
that's
Take
just
the
bullying.
sheet off and go away.
Okay. Let's see. Our next question actually comes from the text of the book.
I'm doing this all to myself. Why?
Yeah.
What was I
it's-
thinking? I should have been like pre-preparing for Would You Rather questions when I wrote the book. I should have geared the whole book around what you could ask me and like built in the correct scenarios
You
myself.
should have. This is
You know, when
this is
the
your
author has
third
notes
go
at the back of the
round.
book.
Yeah.
Next time.
Yes.
Author
Yeah, I
questions
will.
for interviews and would you rather's at the back of
Got
the
it.
at the back
I'll
of the
preload
book.
the Would You
Just do the work
Rather's.
for us.
And
Yeah,
skew
yeah.
them towards what I want to answer.
Yes.
Yeah, got it.
Make
Yeah.
them more precious than anything that we can come up with.
Okay.
Okay.
Mine would be really cute and wholesome though, and you'd be really disappointed. It's like, okay, so do you like chocolate or marshmallows best? And you're like, no, this is not Visual Hangover research.
We
Okay,
do.
sorry,
We
what was
should.
the-
Still
what was
would
the
ask
actual-
that question.
We
Yeah,
should.
I mean, that is important too, but it's
Yeah.
just not quite on the cryptid versus aliens level, I don't.
I feel like we should have an episode where we throw everyone off and do everything like super cutesy and
Yeah.
bubbly. And
Do you want me to help? Like, I could feature the
Yes.
material.
Yes.
Help, we need positivity. How do we do
Yeah.
it?
I'll just
Okay.
primary school the whole thing. It'll be fine. Okay.
Yes,
Sorry.
okay.
What horrible thing did I write that you're
What?
gonna make me decide between?
What horrible thing did I write? Okay.
Yeah.
From the book. I wasn't sure which was worse, my body being dragged forwards against my will or straining to run and save Jared without anything happening. So,
Yeah. See, I
would
am a
you-
horrible human. Look, I am
Look
a
at
horrible
you.
human. Look what I wrote.
Oh, well
would you
done.
rather be
Thanks.
moved against your will or unable to move at all?
Oh, I hate the
Again,
paralysis.
Yeah,
Have we all had a
really-
paralysis demon type
Oh, yeah,
experience?
Yeah.
definitely.
I've
Definitely.
had both kinds of dreams, mainly I think because I've written the stuff and it's just unleashed that part of my imagination. But yeah, I think that the idea of being at somebody else's will in either direction just terrifies me. Like, I don't like the idea that my body could take me somewhere or do something that I haven't decided that I want to, and also being frozen while stuff can happen is just not good either. Which would I prefer? Maybe the paralysis one, but I really don't like it. Just because I get to stand still and not be dragged around and like do stuff. Like, oh, all the things I could think that somebody can make me do. Just at least if I'm just standing there, paralysis feels a little more passive somehow.
What about you, Claire?
I think they're very on par at the same time. Like,
They're pretty bad,
my
right?
I regularly, like, my back will seize up or my knees will seize up, so I can't move for a second or a few moments, and I hate that. And I have the dreams where I'm literally saying move, 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 because I have quite lucid dreams and I'm having to tell my body to move, and that unable to move is awful, and it's usually accompanied by the unable to speak and scream and so I it's not really paralysis demon. I don't see anything when I wake up, but I am paralyzed and I hate it. So just move me around, puppeteer me, do what you want at that stage, because at least I'm moving, and it's the one thing I haven't experienced it, so
Yeah. There's just an ick with both of them. Like, my brain can go to really horrible places of what could happen to you in either situation. So Amanda, come on, like, what is the best thing?
Horrible.
Yeah, what's the worst one, best one for you?
The worst best one for me, I think I would rather be moved against my will. I in my head I go Harry Potter and the Imperious Curse, and making someone do something that they don't want to do. But like when they're discussing that in the book, it's like, oh, they're making people do backflips when they can't do backflips, and that's what I'm thinking of. I'm not thinking of it in the most horrible way possible.
I think that's the problem. That's where my brain does go. Like, I appear sweet, but my brain would take me to like all the horrible things that somebody could make me do. But also, when you're paralyzed, the kind of awful stuff could happen too. So
yeah, I think I would rather do the awful things than have awful things done to me.
Okay, yeah, that's a good answer. But also not.
Not.
I feel like if you're being moved against your will as well, you kind of have that justifiable out of saying, well, it wasn't me, it was them.
Yes.
And
but how do you prove that?
Well, exactly.
How do
But
you
you couldn't
prove
do
that,
the
though?
same thing saying was unable to move at all. You couldn't prove that you couldn't move, and that these awful things that were done to you. At least when you're moving, it feels like you could, in your brain, fight back. Like, so you're being moved around, you're being puppeteered, so your arms being moved around, your legs are being moved around, so you physically have that ability. So in your brain you can scream and try and like get yourself to take over and try and reassert control, Whereas if you are unable to move at all, if you are completely paralyzed and they are able to do something to you, that is like being caged in your own head. And that is terrifying. Whilst if I'm being moved around, I have that probably false sense of hope that I could break out. Because I've already got that momentum. I've already got that movement. This is horrible.
I think that'd be
hate
terrifying.
this.
Yeah, it is. I'm trying to like salvage the situation, and I just can't. Like,
not.
there's no
think it's
joy to be
possible.
had.
No. No.
Because
It's terrible. It's terrible, Amy, and you wrote
side,
it.
It feels like you are being made to do something horrible. On the other side, something horrible is being done to you. What's worse?
Yep.
And if that's the case, I would rather be made to do something terrible.
I'm not going to tell you what my brain is thinking that could entail. I'm just going to let your imagination go
It
with
could
it. But
entail anything.
It could.
So yeah.
Okay.
It's horrible. It's
Another
horrible.
question. Is there another
You are
question?
to blame.
Move on. Move on.
You are to blame.
Move on. Yeah, it's all your
Last
fault.
question.
Yeah, I
It's
know.
literally a quote from your book.
I
All your
know.
fault.
I'm
It's
having
all your
doubts.
fault.
I'm having just so many second thoughts about my own writing.
Meanwhile, I'm going,
Well-
yes!
Yeah, I know. Like, just make it worse for everybody involved.
Let's have the conversation that we know we want. Which vampire power would you rather have? And you can't be Saint Germain and say you're going to have all of them.
Man,
So,
do you know, I
there's
was
an
there.
entire
I
array.
literally was thinking that as you wrote the end of the question. I was like, oh, you just stole my answer right out from under me. This is where I'm going to go with my usual really sensible and, pragmatic approach. And I would like the healing power, please, because, be a vampire who can go out in the day, who can heal from injuries. Like, I think that's kind of going to have me pretty much set for my afterlife, so immortal life. I'm going to go with the sensible. That's my usual practical answer, and I'm sticking to it. Disprove me, somebody. Think of a really cool ability that I want instead.
I don't know, I could puppeteer you around and make you do stuff.
I mean, you could. Please don't. I could, I suppose I could heal. Could I heal my emotional wounds after that, maybe, or just my physical ones? I don't know.
It
Has
depends. It
Jared
depends on
unlocked
what
it
you're.
yet?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, give me another book and I will see if he can, also, maybe he could heal Mina's emotional wounds. Problem solved.
Yeah, yeah. What was? Oh, it was Out of the Dawn. It was Out of the Dawn by PC Cast. They had powers in that one as well, and one could heal physical things, and one could heal mental trauma.
Oh,
So,
cool. I need to read that.
That was
yeah, it's a good duology.
Oh, so I was going to say it's not that. I've only read the House of Night ones by
Yeah,
PC Cast.
no, these are
Very
These
different.
are Into the Mist is the first one, and Out of the Dawn is the second one, and they are
Cool.
grown-ups facing the apocalypse. Very good.
Women rule the world.
Excellent. Solid.
Yes,
As it
yes,
should be.
yeah.
What other powers do we have? Blue sparkly lightning,
I do like that
puppeteering
one.
powers,
Yeah,
disappearing powers.
that's a good
What
one
was
too.
Iliad's?
Freezing.
Freezing.
Yeah, there's ones who can really hurt people too, like just make you feel exquisite anguish.
Yeah.
Like reduce your enemies to just a quivering pile on the floor, if that's your thing.
That's very Twilight
Yeah.
as well. And then
Yeah.
you could do that and then throw the vampire baby
And
in
then
the bonfire
throw the vampire.
afterwards.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah,
We had a lot of
We
conversation
had a
in the main episode about throwing babies into bonfires. It was.
I mean, that CGI baby just needs to be erased from the internet, from existence, from whoever went. Okay, let's make a CGI composite of Kristen Stewart and Robert Pattinson and make it an animated fake baby.
Yes.
Just,
And
they need to
now-
question all of their life choices.
And now it's even worse because they've got it in a museum and it's melting. So it looks even
Is it
worse.
melting?
Yes.
Oh.
Look this up.
This is why you need to take care of it, Amanda. This is why you need to have
I
it. You'll give it love
know.
and take care of it.
I know. I do have a printout of it that's comically large in my office at the new library. I accidentally made it like 4 feet tall and it was not supposed to be that big.
Why are you printing it in the
It's
first
life
place?
size.
That's
You've got
my
a life
question.
size printout of the Renesmee doll.
Yes,
That is
well,
freaking amazing.
because we had the Twilight party at the library, so I have a life-size Edward, like it's even the appropriate height, and a life-size Jacob, and then I made Renesmee because I thought it would be funny, but she's seriously like 3 feet tall, and she was not supposed to be that big. She was supposed to be much, much, much smaller. So now I have a giant Renesmee in my office.
You're not upset by it. It
I'm
was
not
a
upset by it at all.
mistake.
Yeah,
Yeah, I know. I was just thinking that I'm really sad about using office resources to make my giant terrifying baby. Oh, so sad.
It's fine. It needed to be done.
Oh.
What vampire powers are we choosing?
I mean, there's some. Will's got a fun one, make people forget. But then also, Tony's where you can make people
that
do what they want
completely.
and not remember that little
Yeah.
shit.
I mean, honestly, like giving that power to a child as well is such a mistake, isn't it? Like, no parent would ever be able to parent their child because they'd just be like, hey, kid, will you tidy your room? And it's like, I did tidy my room, but make the parent do it for them.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, Amy, you've seen Interview with a Vampire.
Yeah, I know.
How
This is why I
messed
did.
up
This is
Claudia
why I did
becomes,
it.
and you do it to a 4-year-old boy.
He's 8. He's 8.
Oh, yeah, that makes it so much better.
I'm pretty sure he's 8 because mine is 4, and I was like, "What's a slightly less disturbing age?" Okay, let's go with 8.
You didn't hit the mark.
I needed a
8-year-old is
child
still
vampire.
disturbing.
I know. I needed a child vampire. I was like, I need to complete every vampire trope in these books, and I was like, by the third one, I was really thinking, what tropes have I not? Yeah, and I had to go full on into the vampire. So you're welcome, and I'm sorry. He's going to be like, and Ilian's like, I'll adopt him. I mean, who does that? I suppose he does have his own powers that he can apply given, the need. But
Yeah, but
he's
then
going to
it's-
be.
He knows though.
And it's
He's
like
gonna
a
be a
duel.
terror.
Like who's gonna be faster? Is the
Vampire
freezing
power
power
duel. Vampire power duel.
Oh,
Who's
yeah,
gonna win? That's tough.
yeah.
I don't think I've picked a power yet. They're all
I feel
so
like
good.
you need something like really kind of pretty and terrifying, like the fireball hands or something. Like,
That would
I
be
think you
really cool. I do
Yeah.
like a fireball hand.
you could look good doing it, and like
You could make them look like Jubilee out of X-Men as well. She's your favourite.
That's true. But I also like the teleportation. That's
yeah,
pretty cool. And if I'm wearing like a really beautiful gothic dress and like do a swirl or something, I could make it look good.
yeah, that would be cool.
I think that's what I'm gonna pick.
That's how you would make an entrance to every room. You would never walk through a door ever
Why?
again.
What would even be the point
Dramatic
of that?
entrance all the time.
All the time. There is no
A whole
other-
wardrobe of outfits just for the purpose of like the
Yes.
dramatic
Yes,
entrance.
for dramatic twirling all the time.
Claire, power? Okay, yeah, I think that's almost as good as the healing power. You've nearly swayed me that I want
Yeah.
a twirly teleporting power.
Yeah.
Did you
I'm
say one,
leaning into my
Claire?
villain era, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
go for something like puppeteering. I kind of like that.
Yeah.
Make you my minion, but you know about it.
Hmm.
Rather than
Oh.
Tony's, which is actually now thinking about a bit of a cop out, because not only does he control you and make you do stuff, but you also don't remember. At least if you're my puppet, you see that I've made you do it. You know that I've made you do it, and you know I can do it again.
As soon as you know Tony can do that, though, you just couldn't be around him, could you? You'd be like, I question
I would
everything
throw
I've ever
him
said to
on
And
you.
the
then you throw him
bonfire.
into the bonfire.
He's
I mean,
on
there
that
are bonfires in the
bonfire.
book. Yeah, I was going to say there are 3 you can choose from. I put them in there just for you, 3 bonfires to throw terrifying Twilight babies on if you choose, you
Yeah,
know?
it's fine. And also, you saying you're leaning into your villain era, like, okay, well, I can fancily twirl into a room, show up, slit somebody's throat, and disappear.
Yeah.
And then there would just be like, whilst I'm spinning around and all of my frills and all of my things are flowing around me, then there's also like a splatter of blood.
Beautiful.
See?
I feel like this
yeah.
leads
Beautiful.
into some of the other would you rathers when we've talked about like capes and cloaks and fancy outfits
Yes.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So I feel
Yeah.
like
I think
I
you'd
can't
require
remember
some
exactly, but yeah.
practice. Like managing a swirly, beautiful dress and a knife and like getting the twirl right. I think that would take a little bit of like rehearsal.
I'm immortal.
Yeah.
So
You've got
I've got
vampire
time to
grace, it's
practice.
You
Yeah.
can put the time in to make it look really cool.
Right.
Otherwise, I feel like you might teleport into a room and be like, oh, yeah, I just stabbed the wrong person. I'm going to go.
Oops. And then just disappear and no one knows.
Yeah.
It's like,
Yeah,
excuse
fine.
me, I am a vampire, child of the night, immortal, graceful, all must fear me. Swoosh, kill, swoosh, kill. And
Yeah,
you know
I
what?
think it would be
Dead.
fine.
So the fact that I may have killed the wrong person first, or I might have fubbed the landing, doesn't matter. You're dead.
It's
Yes.
fine. It's fine.
What's the Hobbit quote or Lord of the Rings? Gandalf says something about like a wizard doesn't ever turn up late. He turns up exactly.
Oh yeah,
he's
he's
like,
never.
I feel like terrifying teleporting vampires, it's the same. Like, if
Yeah.
everybody's dead, nobody can comment on whether you stuck the landing or not of your
Right.
teleportation.
Yeah, you're just always on time. I just watched Lord of the Rings extended edition in the theaters yesterday. So
Oh,
I'm like,
wow.
oh yeah, you just
Like all of them or just the
no,
first one?
just the first one.
Yeah, I was gonna say that would be a day. That
It would be a
fast.
full on day. It
Do
started
it
at
in a
6
local
o'clock in the
cinema
morning.
in my area, and every time they've done it, there's always been something happened that I can't go, and I'm like,
Yeah.
I just don't know if I could manage it in one day. Like, I struggle to watch a film as it is without some other form of like cross stitching or playing on my Switch or something. Like, I
Yeah.
think that I wouldn't be able to sit still for that period of time in the dark. Like, I would just be like fidgeting and twitching.
you need to
about an
prepare.
hour.
I've done it about 3 or 4 times in the house. All 3 extended editions. You've got to start at a certain time in order to finish at a certain time. You've got to build in your breaks, and you've got to have your snacks ready, and just be prepared to have takeout because it's just easier than having an extended meal prep.
Yeah, I mean, I see that happening, and maybe in a few years' time, when I've got a small person who may want to watch them with me, I'll. At the moment, it wouldn't be an option unless I'm going to do it from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. and that's not the same.
That wouldn't be
Not a
very
vampire
fun.
yet.
No, not quite yet. Oh, Amy.
Oh, Amy.
Oh,
Cold.
Amy. Favorite final thought quote. That's where we are now.
We are. That is where we are. This one's a Libby. I hate being the one who always gets left behind, but I also don't want to poke danger with a pointy stick. So, just stay home and watch movies.
Yeah. Just stay home and watch movies, please.
I generally wouldn't sniff on command, but I inhale deeply. This reminds me, the other week, we had like this big to-do thing at work and they provided food, and there was a cake that I did not partake of, wasn't interested in, it looked horrible. And then the person I was sitting next to, she was like, Claire, taste this cake. I went, no, it looks awful. And she was like, no, taste the cake, it's horrible. So then I had to taste the cake. And I wouldn't normally taste horrible cake on command, but I had to. And then we kept feeding it to everybody because it was so ghastly.
Yeah.
But then again, it also happened the other day when somebody came into work with sweets, and there were the Durin fruit, this poggy fruit. There were Durin fruit chocolates, and they stank the office out. And somebody was going around just going, sniff this. And again, I wouldn't sniff on command. Generally, I wouldn't sniff on command, but I inhale deeply.
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. I think I'm a liar. I think I do generally sniff on command.
I'm pretty sure you're a liar. You've just outed yourself twice.
I'm presenting too much evidence.
Yeah.
Claire sniffs on command. Anyway, today you showed me your power. Next time, you'll see the extent of mine.
Ooh.
Yes, I believe.
Ugh. She's
Not
so
anymore,
good.
look. You did.
She's dead.
You did. We're the monster and the people who fight them.
Yes.
Right, give me yours.
Maybe that will be my superpower. Sheer stubbornness. We made a new family out of people who lift each other up.
Yay.
You know how we feel about found families, everyone.
We love
a found family. Is everyone on the internet terrifying?
Yes.
Yes.
hard agree.
Yes. And finally, this last quote, I feel like it was written for me. The mirrored lift was playing tinkly music that would have set me on edge on a good day. And just saying that out loud, I got goosebumps because I don't like tinkly music and tinkly things.
I was somewhere the other day and they had loads of wind chimes and they were tinkling away, and I was thinking of you going, you would be literally vomiting right now.
So many chills. The chills are intense.
And we have to point out vampire hunter is used.
Yes, there is a vampire hunter. Yes. And if that's not us, I don't know.
I don't know. Lost cause.
Yeah. I need to get out of my head. And Taz did say the Slayers needed a vampire hunter. Yes. So good. Okay. If you liked this, try this. What are you going to suggest?
I am going to suggest something that is non-fiction.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, indeed.
I'm going to hold it up for our Patreons. Ooh, there we go. And it's The United States of Cryptids, a tour of American myths and monsters by J.W. Ocker. I've got a couple of his books, actually, and they are very fun. They're the kind of book where I'll have next to me on the sofa, and I'll pick up and I'll read an entry and put it back down. I don't feel like I have to read it cover to cover straight away. It's a very coffee table book.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And it's full of cryptids. And it's got little pictures on it, and it even has the Fook monster from Arkansas.
Yay!
And I just like it. I think it's a really fun book, and he does a lot of really fun books of this style.
Mm-hmm.
So the summary from Goodreads: meet the monsters in our midst, from Bigfoot to Mothman and beyond. Welcome to the United States of Cryptids, where mysterious monsters lurk in the dark forests, steep lakes and sticky swamps of all 50 states. From the infamous Jersey Devil to the obscure Snallygaster, travel writer and chronicler of the strange, J.W. Ocker uncovers the bizarre stories of these creatures and investigates the ways in which communities embrace and celebrate their local cryptids. Whether you believe in Bigfoot or not, this fully illustrated compendium is fun, frightening, it's not frightening, fascinating tour through American folklore and history, exploring the stories we tell about monsters and what those stories say about us. It is not done. It's done seriously, but it's done knowing it's very self-aware, and it is a little sarcastic at times.
That's fun.
And it is witty as well, and it's just fun, and I do like it, and I think it's... I mean, look at the Mothman illustration.
Right, look at him. He's so cute.
He's so cute. So yeah, if you want to learn a little bit more about cryptids, Snallygaster, the dead drunk demon dragon,
Nice.
then yeah, it's really good. It is a very interesting, and I did learn about a few that I did not know about.
That's
we all know I love a cryptid.
Yes.
So there you go. What have you got?
I'm going to suggest one that I just came across. It came out recently, and it sounds really interesting. It's called Now Conjurers by Freddie Kolsch.
Oh.
November 1999, North Dana, Massachusetts. Nesbitt Nunez discovers the partially devoured body of Bastian Attia, star quarterback, secret witch, and Nesbitt's even more secret boyfriend. No one knew why brilliant, gentle Bastian lived his life by a seemingly arcane set of rules, including a strange manner of speech and an inability to say his own name. Now the remaining members of North Coven, Nesbitt, Dove, Drea, and Brandy vow to get answers. Nothing can prepare them for what they uncover. Bastian has been locked in a terrifying battle of wits and wills with something living deep beneath an ancient mausoleum in the local cemetery. North Coven must confront the red-gloved monster that took piece after piece of Bastian that he fought until his last breath, not knowing that Bastian left behind the key to its destruction. Now Conjurers is a wildly original, spine-chilling YA debut about queer found family and a love that outlasts death.
That sounds really interesting.
Yes, yes, it does. And there are, were some hashtag tenuous links. We're in the 90s. We have witches. We have found family.
Yeah.
That outlasts death, even, because,
Yes.
vampires.
We're queer characters as well. Living down.
That's right, yes. Yes.
That sounds really intriguing. I'm interested.
Yes, indeed.
It's useful, these recommendations, when we go off stuff we have never read before.
Yeah.
Because let us add it to our list.
Oh, I found this and I'm sharing it for a reason. Wink.
Ooh.
Let's put it on the schedule because it sounds good.
Oh, we really need to update that. Do we have a new and indie spotlight we can add to the schedule when it's released?
We do have a new and indie spotlight that we can add to the schedule. And also, it is a new and indie spotlight in this segment, but it's also a new and indie spotlight episode. It's our most recent one that you can go and check out right now. I'm going to suggest Filthy Rich Fae by Geneva Lee. It comes out June 25th, and as previously mentioned, please refer to our latest new and indie spotlight episode. And this one has a hashtag tenuous link as well. You made a bargain, your soul for his, and now you are mine. Kate Holloway knows the unspoken rule of New Orleans. Avoid the powerful Gage crime family at all costs. Of course, that was before her brother got caught in their chaos. Now Kate has no choice but to confront the dark and forbidding prince of New Orleans himself and beg for her brother's life. But Lachlan Gage is as lethal as he is beautiful, and the only currency he's interested in is her soul. Because Lachlan isn't just some ruthless criminal. He's Fae, and he has his own secret reasons for binding her to him. Tricked and desperate, Kate is torn between humanity and the breathtaking otherworld, a place filled with shadows and secrets, with members of each Fae court plotting against her, just as her captive's motives for trapping her become more mysterious. And if she can't break this sinister bargain in the next 30 days, she'll be bound to the inscrutable, yet infuriatingly tempting Fae prince and his deadly world forever.
Faye, they're just so hot right now.
Oh my god, Faye, oh my god.
Like, hello. Yeah, I will like that, dude. Yeah, I will give you my full name.
Yeah, it's fine. Okay, that's it for this episode of Fictional Hangover. I'm Amanda.
And I'm Claire.
Join us next time as we discuss I Feel Awful, Thanks, by Laura Pickle. Look out for our Would You Rather polls and monthly challenges on social media. Don't forget about our book club on Discord. Be sure to visit our shop on Redbubble at fictionalhangover.redbubble.com for all your favorite Fictional Hangover themed merchandise, and become a patron of ours on Patreon at patreon.com/fictionalhangover. Until next time, remember, the only cure for a fictional hangover is another book.
You can find us at fictionalhangover.com. Follow us on Instagram, Threads, TikTok and YouTube at Fictional Hangover. And find us on Facebook at facebook.com/fictionalhangover. If you like this episode, check out our others and be sure to rate, review and subscribe so you don't miss out. And finally, special thanks to Liz Emerson for our music. You can find her on Facebook and Patreon. Thanks for listening.